turn on filter keys. I must have climbed up on your keyboard and held shift.
You're live.
Hello, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I am Nerdarchist Ted, and we're going to play some 5th edition D&D tonight. So this is a game sponsored by RPG Crate. So before we get into that, let's go ahead and pass it off to the players. They're going to say who they're playing, where you might find them, and so why don't you start it off, Mike?
Hello, I'm Fregonator, playing Pavu Calagiano, the Goliath City Watch Investigator. They call me the Claude, however, because I am the worst sneaker ever.
All right, over to you, Jake.
It's actually a player desire. I mean, I don't have any way of training a bear.
Ragnathor, a dwarf barbarian, Path of the Zealot. You can find me on Twitter at @mtd_Jake or on YouTube.
Well, I have animal handling.
Twitch at /me terrain domain where
+2,
I craft dungeon terrain, dice towers, dice trays, and I run a whole bunch of D&D.
All right, next we're going to toss it over to AJ.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hey, I am AJ Kinney. You can find me on Twitter at @randomizerguy, and I'm write for Nerdarchy here and there. And recently, have started my own channel on Twitch, Roll for Mischief, with me and Drew Murray, who you'll also know is one of the writers of Nerdarchy, and a couple other guys. And we stream every Tuesday, 12 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, join us there and watch that.
And last but certainly not least, Megan.
Hi. Tonight I will be playing Eris, the Fire Genocide War Wizard. I am an author, and you can find my books on Amazon.com. That is Megan R. Miller.
That it'd be a
I
good
don't mean to be a diva, but you
if
don't
we're close to civilization.
because apparently Megan Miller is a very common
make
name.
sure a bear is kind of like.
Well, Megan Miller might be common, but Megan R. Miller is certainly not common.
Oh, okay. Well then.
So, as I said, this is an RPG Crate sponsored game. So if you're not familiar with RPG Crate, it's one of those many crate services that are out there like Loot Crate, but this is specifically for gaming products, gaming materials. Each month you typically are going to get gaming material. You get t-shirts, you get minis, you get dice, a variety of awesome stuff. Down in the chat, or down in the description, I should say, is a link to rpgcrate.com, as well as the promo code NerdarchyRPGCrate if you want to get 10% off your first month's subscription. The material that I am running tonight is actually from RPG Crate. This is a ongoing series that we do. We change up the characters that are being played because each one is designed to be a one-shot. And each card is typically about an hour or two worth of material, and we try to cram this into 2 or 3 hours. So I typically take one of these things, I throw it to the side, and I give you a revised edition of what's left. So typically I ask, how do you guys know each other? And how long have you been traveling together? But for this particular set of material, none of that actually matters. When you guys last left off, wherever you were beset by a horde of these Dragon Killer Wasps. You lost your battle, you lost your fight, and you wake up inside a bizarre room and are with a variety of strangers or possibly some people that you already know. So they are, what you know, these creatures are not drawn to light, but they do not fear the flame. They are like fiends from the hells. They come seeking blood. It will never end, not until they've taken every drop. So, apparently, having already defeated you once, all of your gear, all of your stuff is still on you. There are a handful of what looks to be adventurous types as you look around, as well as some others that do not look like they were able to put up as much fight as yourselves as you begin coming to, feeling the weird ground and bizarre walls. They're a kind of ochre color and somewhat spongy. Every once in a while, you might see, a section of wall that it looks like a large bone is protruding through. What do you do?
I'm not sure whether to be happy or concerned that I still have my gear.
I get up, I grumble under my breath, I take a look around this area where we are and these strangers that I find myself with, and I take stock of them to see if they look like they can hold their own.
Well, as you look around, as I said, there are several people that have the look about them as normal townsfolk, commoners. But as you look around, you'll definitely see that there's a few that look like they might be handy in combat. Notably, as you look around, there is a dwarf, a dragonborn, and a Goliath. I'm assuming Eris is coming to first because she's the one that spoke. So,
all right, I'm gonna kick the Goliath awake.
Oh, where am I?
So
who are you?
The name's Eris. I have no idea where this is. You look like you can throw a good punch, so.
I've been known to.
Again, you see the same surroundings. You know, there is a rudimentary door, but it is not a door like you would normally see. It seems to be made of the same weird substance that the floors and walls and ceiling are made of. And as you touch it, it's pseudo spongy. It's sturdy. It's like it's locked in place, but it's not wood. It's not metal.
I almost wonder if something devoured us when we were out. And she's got like steam coming off of her shoulders and like the ends of her hair. She's very clearly angry.
Saying she has like smoldering good looks.
No, her charisma is very low.
Yeah.
It's like an 8.
Ronlin will come to as well, opening eyes and taking in the surroundings. Ronlin is a white dragon, and digging claws into this fleshy, not quite earth. Who are you people? Where are we? Where is Ronlin? What have you done?
Do you have another question that you want to eke out before we start answering them?
Yeah, who's Ronlin?
I have one more question. What happened? As this grizzled dwarf wearing nothing more than he's wearing a vest and trousers, but they're made of like animal hide. He's pushing himself up off the ground with his big battle axe, and he's got this just thick, bristling black beard and wild hair, and tucked into his leather belt is a worn, kind of faded pink stuffed rabbit. And as he pushes himself up and says, "I've got the question, what happened?" you hear as he kind of puts his hand by the rabbit just goes, "Catchphrase."
Well, the last I checked, there were bees. And not the kind of bees that fall asleep when you smoke them out. They were large and ridiculous.
Yes, Ronlin remembers bees. Although Ronlin is not remembering you here.
I remember bees.
So you guys remember these, six-limbed wasps with these deadly stingers. They flew pretty fast, and after a number of successive stings into each of you, again, from wherever you were in the surrounding area, you eventually gave to whatever venom or poison or whatever terminology you want to call it, but you succumbed in the fight, and yeah, these things are certainly bigger than you guys.
I don't see any bees here now. Where are we?
Well, it looks like we're in the inside of something's insides.
I take one of my javelins, pull it out, and just stick it right down into the ground.
Make a strength check.
Yeah. Let's see how that goes. That's 14 plus 4 is 18.
All right, so you were able to get it to stick a couple inches into whatever this material is. Doesn't seem to react.
Is there a lock on the door?
It does appear that it is locked, yes.
Can I go over and attempt to pick it from this side, or is that not something that would be possible?
You could certainly give it a shot. It's gonna be hard because you can't really see the hole, so you're gonna have to do it by feel. Did you roll a 1?
Yep. Good thing I have the tankard of sobriety.
I can see we're off to a standard start.
Wow, Mike. I don't know what you've done to anger the dice gods, but you certainly have.
This is the one that came out of the starter set. It's always rolled like crap.
Then why do you continue to use it?
Because it's only one of like 30 I have, and I cycle through all of them.
Well,
and they all roll like crap for you.
Well, when dice stop working and whatnot, I push them aside. It's like there's no point in using them anymore.
They always roll. They never stop working.
What was I doing with dice in the last game, Mike? I had 2 dice just fail, but I just chucked them across the room.
I didn't see that.
I've had pretty much every story that you can think of when it comes to punishing dice. It's happened at my table. So.
Yeah, you were telling us about somebody taking a hammer to a dice.
Yes, somebody took a sledgehammer to a die.
Yep.
Blowtorch.
All right, so
what is this door made of?
The same material that the ground and walls are.
After that, I will throw the thieves' tools on the ground and just walk away in the corner and just stare at them like they betrayed me.
Is it like bars, or is it like a?
It's like bars. So like he reached through to try and get to the lock with the 2 arms through the bar, doing the backwards thing, and I didn't even have to give him the second die roll with disadvantage. He went ahead and rolled that natural 1 all by himself.
Sometimes doors need less finesse and more brute force.
This is going to be good.
What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the rope off of my pack and kind of loop it around the bars.
Okay.
And kind of just grab the ends over my shoulders. And I'm going to just try to pull away like where the lock is. So closest to the lock side of the door.
Okay.
And I'm just going to pure strength, just try to brute force this door open.
All right. Give me a strength check.
Which of these? We'll go with this one. With my +4, that is a 9.
It's a 9. So you go to pull, and like you pull with your right side and take the step on the right. So you like trip and fall before you can really give it a good effort.
This door is made of something that is way too strong. If I can't get it open, it's clearly not my fault.
Maybe it needs more finesse.
You want to try again with these little toys?
I wasn't talking about me. I mean like the finesse of flames.
Oh, if you insist. And I extend a hand and proceed to firebolt the door.
So as you summon the fire, towards it, it's a stationary object. I'm not going to make you roll. The area begins to melt almost like wax. So one firebolt doesn't do it, but if you cast like 2 or 3,
it's a cantrip. I can do this all day.
I'm well aware. So like in quick succession, you launch a couple bolts, and the area where the lock is slowly begins to become malleable, and you're able to just kind of push it through. So at this point in time, you look around. Claude and Eris, you're actually everyone but Ronlin is pretty perceptive. You see that some of the other inhabitants of this large room have come to, and they're looking around like we have a way out. So they're kind of like looking at you guys expectantly.
All right, listen up, townsfolk. Start waking each other up, start getting ready to go. This is going to be dangerous. Some of you are probably going to die, but to be perfectly honest, this is probably the only chance we've got of getting out of here, so you might want to come now. I remind you, my charisma is 8.
Do any of them look particularly roguelike?
No. Most of them appear as common can be. There is someone who is a little bit better dressed. Looks a little bit older.
Is it an elf?
No, he's human.
Darn. I was hoping that somebody that looked dexterous could teach me how to use lockpicks.
No, but besides the 4 of you, everyone else in this large room is human.
So Ronlin is failing to be perceptive because Ronlin is casting about the ground looking for small objects like buttons or little stones or anything like that I can find.
There are no stones in this room. In fact, there is. You're rather puzzled at what this what this is, because it's not dirt, it's not stone, it's not wood. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. Are there any like loose bits of clothing, anything that's kind of fallen off of somebody? Preferably something like a button or a piece of wood or something.
I can take off my shirt if it will help you.
Odds are in this room there is probably something that's been cast off. If you want it to be a button, it can be a button.
Yeah, typically something like that would be good. And I'm assuming that through the doorway it's rather dark.
Indeed.
All right. Once I've found my button, I'm going to hold it in my palm, and it is going to start to glow between my fingertips. And then I'm going to hurl it through the doorway. I've cast light on it.
I assume that's where you were going?
Yep.
If you were looking for something for that, you could have used a lockpick. They're useless for anything else.
Ronlin will take your lockpicks.
I was going to leave them, so I hope somebody would in case I needed them later.
Oh, yeah. I'll go pick them up. I'm Dragon, man. I'm going to take whatever I can.
So as you toss the light out into the darkness, you know it doesn't do ting ting ting. It kind of just lands and sticks there, and it kind of almost the same moment that the light stops moving, you hear the sound that was your first clue of these creatures, as you hear this loud humming of wings, and within seconds, two of these large wasp-like creatures are flying in your direction.
Run, jailbreak!
Well, the only place to run is either into them or back into the cell.
I start casting, so just let me know when to roll initiative.
All right.
Yep. If you
I'm
guys
going
want
to draw my dagger.
I've got my battle axe in my hand. Ooh,
I would like to go back into the cell and then use my immovable rod to hold it shut so it can't be opened.
I would also like to cast my mage hand and then tap Claude on the shoulder with it.
18.
It's okay.
9.
Oh,
Wait,
crap,
roll.
initiative.
Oh, wow. I actually can roll something. 18.
There it is. 13.
AJ, if you want to choose whether you want to go first or not,
I do not think it's going to matter. We're probably both going to hit him with spells. I might summon something, so you can go ahead and go.
And it would help if I actually had dice at the ready.
I'll probably summon myself into getting jaked, because I'm pretty sure this wizard fights like a fighter. Oh, no, I know what I'm going to do first. I'm going to cast Mage Armor first. So that's going to be my turn. So that'll be quick.
Oh, geez. All right, so... All right, so spellcasters.
right.
Somehow the ones with the lowest dex wind up going first.
Yes.
That's because high dex rolls like crap. Oh, wait. They only have one worse dex than I do.
Let's see. I'm going to cast Dragon's Breath on myself. So I know that for a dragonborn, you let them use their breath attack as a bonus action. I don't think that applies to the spell though, right?
Yeah, I believe the spell it operates on its own sequence.
All right, but casting it is a bonus action, so I can use my action to exhale.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing fire because of course I am. And they get a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. And what is your area effect on that? Is it the same as Dragonborn?
Yeah, it's a 15-foot cone.
Okay.
Just for the sake of fun, since I can use my breath weapon as a bonus action still in this, right, Ted?
Yeah.
I'm going to do my breath weapon as well, because it's ice, and I just think it's fun to blast fire and ice down this hallway.
I like that.
That is cool. So I have a 19 and a 10 for saving throws.
I'm still trying to find my save DC on the sheet because it's one of the weird ones. Okay, it's DC 17, and that's 9 if they didn't pass, and 3
4.
if they did?
4.
I'm
Excellent.
a DC 14.
Hey, it's higher because you got that headband.
No, it's Constitution.
Oh. All right, so I have a 20 and a 7.
Okay, let's see. It is so that's wonderful. 5 for the fail and 2 for the success.
Shouldn't have done it at the same time. She melted some of your ice.
I know. Conflicting fire and ice. If only we had a bard here in the same initiative, then it could be a song of fire and ice.
I had that same joke teed up, but I was waiting for Mike to make it.
Well, you got to be quick with the puns here, because there's plenty of us. So, Eris, was that all you can do?
Yeah.
So, Ronlin, are you doing anything besides that breathing?
Yeah, in the process of that, I'll also be reaching into a pouch and kind of caressing a piece of thick leather. And as that's happening, a shimmering glow will kind of coalesce around me, and I have cast Mage Armor.
Okay. Here I thought you were, trying to get into a fetish with you caressing leather.
Well, there's that too, but.
All right, Claude, what are you doing?
Was I able to get in and set up my immovable rod before, or is that going to be my action this turn?
So you're trying to lock everyone back in the room?
Oh, just myself. I assumed everyone else walked out. I was going to shoot it through the bars.
So did all of you guys go out with the
I
light?
assumed we all went out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
All right. So you go into the room, and you pop up the immovable rod and lock yourself in the room.
Yep.
So since our nice wizards have presented themselves and breathed fire and are within 15 feet of these things, they're going to each come and take an attack, or several.
While there are several attacking us, Ronlin's going to look at Eris and say, giant man.
All right. So the first one in at Ronlin, that's a 25. A spear comes in at Eris, and that is a 26. You guys both take a spear. And helps to find the right dice here. So that is 5 points of damage to Ronlin, 11 points of damage to Eris, and they are going to follow those up by each trying to bite you.
Oh, so these are like intelligent-looking insects wielding weapons and all that.
Oh, absolutely.
They're like flying little thrycrane bastards.
So the bite comes in and strikes Ronlin. Can I get a Constitution saving throw?
You may, but only because you asked. So nice. 21.
21. All right, so you take half of the poison. So 6 points of piercing, 3 points of poison. And unfortunately, the lack of armor on our Genasi, however you want to pronounce it, it finds purchase in your throat, and it hurts quite a lot. So you take 9 points of piercing, and I need a Constitution save.
Okay. I can use my reaction as a war mage to give myself +4 to a saving throw. And
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
To bring that up to 16.
Okay. The 16 passes. So you take half of the 19 poison that you were going to have, because
Sweet.
he hit hard. So that's 9 piercing and 9 poison. And our dwarf friend, Rock, is up.
Is that the best you can do? I'm talking to you as I look at the wizards and the Goliath locking himself in the cage. Okay, magic is not the thing. I'm angry now. As I bonus action to rage. And as I do, my little rabbit on my belt says, "It's clobbering time." And I'm taking my battle axe, and I get 2 attacks, so can I get 1 on each of these guys?
You can.
All right, so
I just let you know they don't seem bothered by the fire and ice that they've taken so far.
Let's see what steel does to them. So, and I'm going to make this a no, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to attack. So that's a 21 to hit the first one.
That hits.
And a mere 12 to hit the second one.
The 12 is going to miss. These guys seem pretty dexterous, apart from having chitinous plates on their body.
So with my Divine Fury, I get an extra D6 damage die on top of my D12.
All right.
Whoops. All right. So that's going to be 2, 6 plus 4 is 10, 15 points of damage from that hit.
All right.
And I already used my bonus action, so I guess that's my turn.
All right. That brings us back to the top of the order. Eris, Ronlin?
All right. Let's see here. Eris, what are you going to do?
I'm considering Wall of Fire.
All right. Ronlin will kind of cast you a glance as if expecting you to act first.
All right. In that case, I cast Wall of Fire. Can I set this up in such a way that it gets both of these bee creatures in the path of where it appears and not hit my allies?
You guys are all tight knit together. So if you put it so that just the cusp of the fire hits the wasps and not you guys, absolutely.
Good. They get a dex saving throw.
Number 1. Number 2. So you said DC was 17?
Yep.
They both failed.
Good. They each take 31 fire damage from the wall.
I find it amusing that the two of you did damage, then Rock doubled how much damage, and then you doubled that. It went from 14 damage plus 15 plus 31. This is amusing.
And that is my turn.
All right. Ronlin, what are you doing, sir?
How beat up do these guys look?
The one is certainly hurting, but not on death's door. And now that he's pretty much surrounded by a wall of fire, there's nowhere for him to go but forward.
Okay. So. Ronlin will sigh as if kind of disappointed by the action that was taken with this wall of fire, and just kind of hold out a hand and launch 3 bolts of magical force at the injured-looking one.
The one that's more injured? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. So let's see, 4, 9, 14 points of force damage as a magic missile that guy.
All right, he takes it. I would say he's still standing, but they're not standing. They're hovering.
He's still hovering?
He is still hovering in front of you guys.
And then I'm going to just hold up my dagger ready to attack anything that comes and hits me.
All right, that brings us to Claude.
So they're within 30 feet of me, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I still get sneak attack. So that is a 22 and a 24 to hit. For a total of 19 damage. On the one that looks...
the most beat up?
Yeah.
All right. So he takes a couple shots. He's not feeling all that great. You can see the one wing is messed up. He's got axe slashes and fire, and he's really beat up, but he's still kicking.
I think that stung him.
So they the one that's beat up sees the naked or mostly naked dwarf in front of him, and he's gonna move in on that one. And you guys have all pretty easy to hit armor classes. So he does a spear and then a bite. So if I can get a Constitution save, sir.
Well, let's see. That's a 2, but I have fanatical focus that lets me re-roll a failed save.
Don't you get an advantage for being a dwarf? Am I wrong?
It's on poison. Is that a poison thing?
Yes.
Oh, well then let's see. That's a nat 20.
All right. So you take half of the poison, which is 4.
And what was the damage from the spear?
And the total piercing from the bite and the spear.
It'll be halved. It'll be halved because.
So total of 9 piercing after halving and 4 poison. And then, let's see here. All right, so the what do you call it? They have to be where you guys are in order to not be in the wall of fire. So I need the three of you who are there in melee with these guys to make a strength save as they begin flapping their wings and essentially buffeting you.
$24.
I used my reaction.
You already did, didn't you?
That was last turn, wasn't it? Do I only get one of those? Like,
yeah, because you've gone. This does reset. You're correct.
Okay, so yeah, I use my reaction for that saving throw. 16.
All right, and what do you have, Ronlin?
I got a 22.
All right, so you guys pretty much just put your shoulder into the wind, and they are unable to move you, and sadly, they then don't have anywhere to go. So the wall of fire that stays. It's a concentration effect, correct?
Yes, so I am no longer under the effects of Dragon's Breath. I selected the opposite side of the wall of us to continue dealing damage. So if they are either in the wall or within 10 feet of it on the other side, they take damage. But if they're on our side, they don't.
Okay, all right, then they don't take damage. So because they're like right with you guys. I thought they were in the wall, so they were trying to push you guys away from it so they didn't continue to burn. All right, so then that brings us to Jake.
All right, I'm still raging. And I'm going to strike at both of them, one each.
All right, your first attack?
First attack is a 18.
18 will hit.
And dang it, this second attack, man, is only an 11.
The 11 misses, but you do manage to, cleave deep into the one wasp, and as soon as your axe hits, the thing crumples.
All right.
I'm assuming you deal at least 3 points of damage.
I do that just for my rage.
Which is why I didn't ask about how much damage you did. All right. So is that all you have, sir?
Yeah, that was both of my attacks.
All right. That brings us back to our spellcasters.
Oh, I was thinking somebody else had to go. All right, I'm going to step up, and I'm going to attempt to grab this last insect and like hold him into the wall of fire.
So you're going to grapple?
Grapple, and then just kind of like, if it's going to involve me getting in the wall myself, but force him.
Can I help him to give him advantage?
I would love it.
You want to both attempt to grapple this creature? All right.
I feel like, is that going to give me advantage, or is she just going to get in my way?
If you both are trying to like grab it and push it into the fire, I would count that as advantage.
Cool. So I'll be the main grappler then.
Yes.
All right, cool. I got a 19.
All right, I only have a 12.
All right, so I grab it by the throat and just hold it so its whole body's in the flames and my arm is in the wall of fire, and I growl at it. What do you want with us?
All right. Well, so is that on its turn? It takes the damage. Is that the way that works?
It takes the damage on its turn. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it is in the fire. We'll see what happens when it gets to its turn.
I should probably take my damage.
Doesn't the spell read the first time it enters or on its turn?
If it's in the wall of fire, hold on, let me pull this up. Okay, so the wall appears. Each creature within it must make a dex saving throw, and on a failed save, they take damage. On on one side of the wall selected by you when you cast the spell. It deals 5d8 fire damage to each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of that side or inside the wall.
All right. So on your turn, you are clearly within 10 feet of the damaging side because you are putting somebody into it. So you will take the damage, sir.
Oh,
It is 20. And let me know if I should roll again when it comes to the bee's turn.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to be able to, deal with that. So, Eris, you get a turn as well.
I took mine, didn't I? I was assisting
hell
with
action.
grapple, and that was my action.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so the robes on my sleeve are burning away as my white flesh begins to crackle and turn black as I'm holding this creature into the wall of fire.
All right, so Claude, you're up.
First attack is a 14.
14 misses, sir.
Okay.
I just, man, was it that same die?
No, but it's another blue one.
Maybe blue's not your color, man. So if there's anybody out there that makes dice and want to, help out, Fraginator, I think he needs new dice.
I'm pretty sure he'll need an all 20-sided dice.
I'll still roll a 1.
I don't keep it anywhere near any of my RPG dice, but I do have a set of the cheater dice that's got the 20 on both sides instead of the 20 in the one. I keep it away from the other stuff just so there's no chance of ever being confused. But
I had this one dice. It was a white dice, and it had a lot of D20s have a little symbol on the 20, especially the counter dice.
Yeah.
And this one had the symbol on the 9 for some reason. And so my buddy would use it, and he was a rogue, and he'd be critting all the time because he'd roll 20 or he'd roll that symbol, and he would hit the 20. And we finally realized it's the 9, so we started making these nat 9 jokes.
Well, that would be really appropriate in the current critical role thing because they are the mighty 9.
9.
So
I have those dice as well. I just refuse to use them when I play.
well, kudos for morals. I
just think natural ones are fun.
Oh, for sure.
So
with as many as I roll, I can be a stand-up comedian.
Roll, you're not going to be standing for long.
This creature, apparently doesn't have much in the way of self-preservation. So he just decides to lash out at you with his spear and is just going straight for your forearm to bite. And both, as you would expect with your 14 armor class, he hits with ease. So if I could have a Constitution saving throw from you, sir.
I can do that. That's a 22, or it's a 20.
All right, well that's good because I roll really well. All right. So instead of 17 poison damage, you only take 8. 10. So then you take 22 piercing damage from the spear and the bite. Yes, sir.
All right,
Total
I've got
30.
4 health. I don't think I'm going to be able to survive if I don't pull my arm out of this wall.
Aren't you the one that took all the healer's kits too?
I am, yes. So if I go down, you guys know what to do.
Does it count as getting jaked if you do it yourself?
So
I believe so.
This is the end of the creature's turn. So he is still in the fire. If you could roll that damage, please, Eris.
28.
28. Impressive. No, he's still kicking. He had not taken a lot of damage. Every swing that the dwarf has made on this one, he's continued to dodge. So he took the least amount of damage from the breath weapons, and then he took damage from the wall of fire, so there's not a whole lot that's been done to this guy. So that brings us to Rock.
And Ronlin is still holding him into the wall of fire.
Yes.
Do I have to do everything myself? As I take my battle axe and I flip it around so that I'm holding it handle first. And anybody that kind of catches a glimpse, you can see that the bottom of the handle of the battle axe has been hollowed out. And embedded in the handle is a wand of magic missiles. Holding my axe like a shotgun, my rabbit goes, "Get some!" As I fire, fire off 3 magic missiles that arc around Ronlin and slam into this thing. 4.
I am impressed with your homemade boom tube.
8. That's 11 points of force damage. Because I only did it at level 1.
Okay. He is still kicking.
Dang it. I will try better next time.
All right. We are up to spellcasters, Ronlin and Eris.
Do I take the damage if I begin my turn in it? Is this going to drop me right now?
To end your turn. So you could choose. You can choose to let go and back away.
Action? Just letting go for action?
You can let go as a free action.
Cool.
You understand that you will have to either disengage or suffer an attack of opportunity.
I've got this figured out. So what I would like to do is make my melee attack against him before I let go, because that'll give me advantage. Correct? I'm gonna munchkin the crap.
Because it's grappling.
Because I'm grappling, yeah.
Hey, by all means.
All right, because I'm going to go ahead and booming blade him.
Okay.
Good thing I had the advantage because I rolled crap. That is a why can't I do math? That is a, that's a 20 to hit, so not natural 20.
20 hits.
All right. And then my base attack is its dice plus 2d8, and then if he moves from the space, he'll take an additional 3d8. Where's my d4? All right. It's 17 damage from the attack, and 10 of that is thunder damage.
So 17?
Yep. And then I'm going to Misty Step back behind the bar.
Oh. Like,
okay.
Now he is stuck in the wall of fire. If he moves from that space, he's going to take an additional 3d8 thunder damage.
Okay.
But if he stays there, he's going to take 5d6 or whatever it is.
5d8 fire damage.
Exactly.
Screwed either way. That's awesome.
Tactics.
That's what spellcasters are known to do.
This is what we call shake and bake.
Eris, what are you doing?
Okay, so I realized that as my level 10 Arcane Tradition feature, if I'm maintaining concentration on a spell, I have a +2 bonus to my AC and saving throws. So I'm just like throwing that out there. But for this turn, I'm going to cast Firebolt, and it's dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
All right, and my damage is 15.
All right, so these things aren't any more flammable than people, but you see this thing suffering from a variety of effects, a lot of it being your fire, and it eventually, the wings, curl up and burn, and this thing drops to the ground, quivering, and then stops moving.
Was that in character?
Yes.
I hope it was.
Like, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of give Claude this look, just like, what is going on with this chick?
Like, I let the fires die down, and I just look so pleased with myself.
I'm going to see to managing my arm up. I hope to God I'm trained in medicine.
Was that both of them, or is there still one?
Okay. That was both of them.
I cleaved the other one.
So, just for the viewer's sake, I random rolled all of my character except for my spells. So I'm not an optimized wizard. I have really weird stuff like Healer's Feet. What is that one?
The Healer's Feet?
Yeah. So I don't have healing as a or medicine as a trained skill, even though it would make sense with the character conceptually. But anyway.
But does the feat require you to make a medicine check, or does it just say an application of a healer's kit gives the healing?
Kit, yeah. Well, let me just double read that while you guys are doing other things.
You know, I probably should have been the one pushing the bee into the fire. I just realized that as a fire genocide, I'm resistant to fire damage.
Yeah, but as a dragonborn, I don't think before I act.
Do you have a low wisdom, Runlin?
What's that? No, I don't. It's my second highest stat.
He just doesn't use it.
As an action, I can use my healer's kit to tend a creature. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use one of those on myself for D6 plus 4 health. Since I'm at 4 health.
Well, you understand now that clearly, the denizens of this place are going to have to be at least somewhat aware as you look around and you see with this intense heat of a massive wall of fire that's been placed, the walls, the floor, they seem like little bit runny, a little bit saggy, not soggy. They're not wet.
This is why I'm not asking for a short rest. I'm just healing myself and going.
I will remove the immovable rod so we can get out.
I'm gonna look back at all the people there. What are the civilians doing though?
They were kind of cowering behind you guys. The one who is slightly better dressed, kind of steps forward. As like I said, older gentleman. You can see that there's, he's starting to go gray, little bit, little bit of a beard. Clearly, he hasn't shaved in a few days. Yeah, he steps forward and says, I thank you kindly, folk, for getting us out of this cage. We've been here a couple of days. You can see that they all look, little hungry, little tired. The name's Fish. It's a bizarre story. Has to do with a giant. We've been caught here for a while. We're looking to just get out and get back home. If you can find us a way out, we'll stay out of your way.
Fish. That is a silly name.
Better than Claude.
Yes, you have unfortunate parents.
The short version is, I was, caught by a hill giant, and he was trying to catch a big fish, and he tried to use me as bait. So, told the story to some friends. The name's kind of stuck. It's been that way for decades.
All right. Well,
I think fish bait would be a better name.
Are we getting paid
That's his last name.
to get you out of here?
I don't know what don't know what I'll be able to give you, but our lives got to be worth something.
Yeah, you seem to be someone of something and something else. I'm going to then just pull out a little jar and pop the top off and start pouring some water into it from my water skin, and then look at him and say, "Well, I can promise your safety," and I'm going to polymorph him into a fish.
So,
Wisdom 16 DC.
Well, he could choose to fail.
He could.
Well, he doesn't know what you're doing. He fails, so he flops to the ground.
I pick him up, drop him in the bowl, put the lid on.
Oh my god!
Then store that somewhere kind of safe.
All right. Well,
ruin a water skin if you forget about him in an hour.
Well, even worse if he tries to drink it.
It's in a jar. I'm not going to drink out of that. This jar is specifically for my polymorphing jar. All right. I'm going to look at the rest of the people and just shrug. and walk out the door.
I think you just stashed the most useful person out of this lot.
Yes, and he will make it home safe, and he will repay us for that. The other useless ones will probably die.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Just try and stay behind us, and I start walking.
Yes, I am hurt badly. I don't really feel like bad. I'm sorry. Ronan's so bad. Ace is bad at using his acronyms properly.
I would be
He's
willing
bad at
to
using his words properly because acronyms not even what I'm about to say.
She's clearly in charge. We will follow her.
I'll mention that I don't mind taking the lead to look for traps with my passive investigation of 19.
I step aside and allow him through.
Hopefully you do that better than pick locks.
I don't have to actively do it. It's fine. I say in a mocking voice in the same.
So as you go further down the hallway, you enter into a room. The air reeks of an overwhelming stench of decay. Several pods made of the similar material as the walls, but they're more translucent, as if maybe they're thinner. Fill the room. If you take a closer look, each contains what seems to be the remains of different creatures in various stages of decay. A large pile of bones lies in the center of the room.
This looks like a good place to take a nap.
Looks like a lot of people have taken naps here.
Yes. And then after eating a nice full meal, they went to sleep and left the bones on the floor, as you do.
Right.
I'm standing patiently behind Eris, waiting for her to act, since she told me to stay behind her.
I was talking to the people, not you. You know what you're doing.
I want to throw a dagger at the pile of bones because I don't trust Ted after that chest was a mimic.
The chest is a mimic. The bones are a mimic. The walls are a mimic. This stream is a mimic.
I know it wasn't Ted. It was the RPG crate guys, but whatever. Still Ted's fault.
Well, I have complete authority to change what's written. So, do you ever? I'm the DM here. I can do what I need to. So you throw a dagger at the pile of bones. Some bones collapse. Your dagger hits it and keeps kind of moving.
I let out a sigh of relief.
Good. I want to poke through this pile of bones now that we know it isn't alive. See if there's anything in it.
There is indeed. Easily found. There seems to be a dagger that has been crafted completely out of bone.
I thought you were going to say that has been thrown by a Goliath.
There is a dagger that's been thrown by a Goliath and another dagger that's made of bone. There is also a scroll case that seems to be made out of bone. Out of bone.
It's got Tasha's hideous laughter inside, and it's made out of a humerus.
That'd be pretty great. So, what are you doing? Do you pick them up? Do you not pick them up?
Yes, I pick them up, proceed to hand the bone dagger to the rogue, and I would like to see what's in the scroll case. Are you not a rogue?
I am, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
he's just not that kind of rogue.
I look at it, and then hey, you had a dagger, and I hand it to Ronlin, see if he wants it.
This dagger looks very nice.
It actually does. It doesn't look like someone just sharpened a bone into a rudimentary tool. This is crafted. It's elegant. As you take a moment to study it, you didn't see it at first. It's kind of almost out of your peripheral. You look at it and you can see that there is very faint etchings in Draconic.
What do they say? I speak Draconic.
You do. So they're not specific words, but your images of like power and strength looks to be, rudimentary enchantments.
Cool. I will take my old dagger and chuck it to the side and sheath this one where my old dagger was at.
I pick up the dagger he dropped.
Behind me and pick up my old dagger.
They're my version of a 10-foot pole. I just throw daggers at suspicious things.
Right.
My weapons of choice are actually a warhammer and a morning star, with my offhand as a scimitar. I'm
just
a weird rogue.
Just to get a finesse so you can sneak.
Exactly.
So for basic principles, it's a +1 dagger.
Cool. I think too, if there doesn't seem to be any threats in this room, I am going to sit with my back against one of these squishy walls and attempt to, tend to my wounded arm even more.
Well, you've got wounds all over the place, so you've got a few spear pokes and a few bites.
My arm's my biggest concern. It's pretty well burnt.
Understandable.
That's one way of saying, unless we stopped, I would like to take a short rest.
I heard peeing on it helps with the burn.
These
it might not be with flames.
Is that what
Different
Claude's saying out loud?
Oh yeah. My wisdom's only 12.
These chambers that have the translucent with the remains of in decay in them, are there any of these little chambers that are empty?
No.
Oh.
Claude, I have tried the peeing. It doesn't work.
So
well,
what was the scroll? So
I was getting there, but so Eris, when you begin to uncap the scroll case,
I swear if bees fly out of it and into my face, I'm done.
Conjure within beings, swarm of
scroll of bees.
You actually find 3 scrolls: contact other plane, teleportation circle, and wall of stone.
I had considered learning all 3 of those spells, but just didn't.
We should put up the wall of stone, put down the circle, and then teleport out.
These are flashy enough for me. So, Ronlin, if you would like them.
Of course.
They don't go boom, you don't want.
No, hold on. Are we going to consider casting teleportation circle here and leaving? Because...
Would you like to? We could.
I mean...
Is there another way out?
Doesn't that only work within the same plane that you're already on? Because if we're on another plane, that's going to really screw us over.
You see my eyes kind of freaking out as they're talking about something that's way over my head.
I think we are inside something's belly. We probably should do the best we can to get out as fast as we can.
So Elfbait says in the chat, I'm totally okay with a scroll of bees.
You would be, Eli.
So are you guys taking a short rest? Are you guys trying to get out of Dodge? What's the...
I'm all right with taking a short rest. We have injured.
And I want to study this here scroll of teleportation and see if we can do that, because that sounds like fun.
I will help keep watch while you tend to your wounds.
All right.
As I tend to my own wounds.
I will tend to my wounds as well.
Same.
All right, so now you guys realize that you are in a room that is overwhelmingly stench of death.
Oh, yes. It's the safest place to be.
It's the best place to hide.
And you're okay with it?
It is what it is.
I mean, I'm kind of a grungy lady in the first place.
I mean, Ronlin is cool. This is home.
I just want to point out that I'm using hit dice, and the first 3 dice that I rolled came up 1.
Oh, no.
I rolled 1 hit die and got all my hit points back.
I rolled none and got all mine back.
That's what happens when you hide in the jail. When you go back to the starting position.
It's a legitimate tactic.
Well, yeah, you understand that, Fragonator knows how these games tend to go. So he's like, you know what? I have to try and, plot and plan.
I must survive.
I've tried that and gotten juked many times. I'm just going barbarian balls to the wall on everything.
Yeah, so I rolled like 3 or 4 ones out of, I think, 8 hit dice that I used.
Oh, if only I could give away hit dice.
I know. If only I had.
You want to hold my bunny rabbit? Will it make you feel better?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to gently hold the bunny rabbit in my left hand.
As you hold it, it says catchphrase.
I shall call the bearded one Bunny, and I shall call the bunny Awesome. My little Awesome. You feel so good.
I don't know. There's already been a bunny, there's already been a bunny as a player on a Nerdarchy game. I don't know whether we can have a second one.
I am sorry, Dungeon Master, but Bunny is Bunny.
So the dwarf is Bunny.
I have a question.
And the bunny
when
is
did I
awesome.
become half naked?
I don't know.
I thought I was wearing trousers and a vest, and all of a sudden,
Bunny wasn't really a bunny either.
Naked, and Elf Bates talking about the creepy half-naked dwarf.
I remember you taking off a shirt to give buttons.
I offered to take a shirt off. I mean,
oh no, you offered it happened.
Okay, I'm now a shirtless, half-naked dwarf.
And I'm
fine with it.
The next thing I cast light on is going to be your shirt, and I'm going to throw it in the hole.
Wear it like a cape.
Speaking of which,
right, so
my cape is billowing about me as I take pleasure in holding a bunny and rubbing some kind of salve on my arm.
All right, half hour into your rest. Give me Constitution saves.
I get the advantage on that.
18.
Oh. Ooh, I rolled 2 18s, so that's 21.
All right.
Oh,
wait,
24.
are we rolling initiative? Is that what's
Consti-
happening right now?
Constitution save.
Constitution saves.
17.
Do I get my reaction on this Constitution save?
No.
Oh, 18.
All right.
Wait, no, 21, because I have Constitution. That is one of my things that...
All right. So the four of you stomach through this horrid place, but the townsfolk, they pretty much head back to the hall where it's kind of saggy and goopy from your fire. They're not happy being in this room. But yeah, I just sneezed and be grateful. It was only one. I usually go for like 3 to 6.
1d6 sneezes.
Should we go ahead and end this session?
That's
now?
more like usually 2 to 3. I mean, that wouldn't end the session. That's just gonna change what I have to do.
Oh, we're gonna teleport right into the actual belly of the beast.
And I'm like, I forgot how fragile normal townspeople are.
If we use this ritual, we can get all of us out of here. Ronlin can save all these people and we'll be away. It'll make the nausea less.
In my experience, magic makes me throw up too. It might be worse off.
I think we send them first.
Yes, that way they can soften the blows if something's there that we don't want to face.
This is true.
Sorry, that was my outside voice.
Give them a chance to prove their strength. There's nothing wrong with that.
I got 3 daggers now. How many of the townsfolk are there?
Well, there were 7, so there's now 6. Because one of them got turned into a fish.
I can arm half of them.
Well, unless somebody objects, I'm going to start setting up to cast this ritual. I mean, I assume casting it from the scroll is casting it as a ritual.
I would like
The casting time itself is 1 minute.
Mhm.
I light some incense to make it smell a little better in here in the meantime for the sake of the ill townsfolk.
I'm using the bones to create the circle.
And that's
And,
not sacrilege or anything.
they're dead. They don't need them anymore.
I'm just going to be keeping a lookout, warhammer in hand.
And I with my magic shotgun battle axe.
Magic shotgun battle axe.
As
All right.
as I'm casting this, I'll ask, Bunny, did you make this magic shotgun battle axe yourself? Your boomstick. Is it homemade?
I drilled out the handle. It was an old wizard companion who gave me the wand that is inside and taught me how to use it.
Did he give it to you, or did you take it off his corpse?
I took it off his corpse after he died.
Good call.
It was his fault for being so squishy.
That's what wizards are good for. Oh,
Well, dear
we'll talk
friends,
later.
if something similar happens to me, you have my full permission to take my things. I won't need it where I'm going.
Excellent. What do you have that's good? I'll figure it out.
Well, I don't know. You'll have to find out for yourself, won't you?
I'll figure it out.
All right. So, let's see how this goes. So you finished your spell, and a portal opens up. Where are you taking them?
Tatooine.
Ideally, I would like to take them to the nearest town. But where I actually take them, I don't know, because I didn't think I had control over where this is going to land.
Well, I don't know if you read the spell, but you learn where circles are, and you pick.
Oh, okay.
It says you pick 2 destinations that have a already inscribed circle, and then you're able to teleport to them. So if you ask any of the townsfolk where they're from, they will tell you that they're from Steamford.
All right. Then I will try to find... Ronlin will try to find a portal near Steamford. Does Ronlin succeed?
There is a very old sigil. It's, not even really visible. But as you, over the short rest, study the scroll and you seep into its magics, thinking very, very strongly about this place, there is an old magic that exists within this town, and the townsfolk don't know it's there, but it indeed has a sigil, and you can learn that as well as to one other place. So you could take them right home should you so desire.
Okay.
You should give them the fishy man.
And then you said I could learn the one other place?
When you learn the spell, you're able to learn 2 places.
Okay.
If you're just casting it, you're gonna pretty much just pick a place and go.
Well, learning it's going to take a long time, right? So I would just cast it because
Okay. All right. So then you would
learning it is like an 8-hour rest, some crap like that.
Yeah, you'd have to learn it.
Costs money.
An hour per level or something.
Ain't nobody got time for that. We're gonna teleport right to where the town you just said a second ago that I don't remember anymore.
Steamford,
because that's a hard thing to remember.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Steam and Ford. It's this brain of mine.
So you
J and Ford.
No, it's not Fjord.
All right, so yeah, just open that teleportation circle right to Steamfjord and tell the townspeople you can go home now.
So are all of you going through the portal?
I would hope so.
So as you begin finishing casting the spell, you let everybody know what's going to happen. You see a group, at least half a dozen of these wasp creatures coming, up the hallway. in the light, whatever light you guys are using, you can see the reflection from their blue, almost glowing eyes, and the last of you steps through the portal, and it.
I would probably be last because I'm a little concerned about going through it, and then I hear the buzzing. I go, never mind.
The light we were using was Rock's shirt, and it stayed there.
I'm okay with this. I'll bring up the rear with my shotgun battle axe.
What's funny, Jake, is I have that exact axe over there.
That's a Nerf one?
It is.
We've had it for years.
My son and I fight with it all the time.
My second pair of glasses got broke with one of those.
So you guys make it back. Do you unpolymorph the fish?
Of course I do. I pull this this jar out and unscrew the top and reach in and grab the fish and drop him, and as I do, release the spell.
So he comes to. You guys spend the next several hours talking. People amongst the town, are utterly amazed and shocked that their townsfolk, which were taken during an assault, 2 or 3 days ago, are home alive. They're safe. They didn't become food. You find out that fish, or it was originally called fish bait. It got shortened to fish over the many years since the telling of the tale. So yes, you were right, Claude. But you didn't have time to learn any of this stuff because you got polymorphed into a fish far too quickly. He is also a merchant, so he is ready and willing to actually give you guys some coin. Maybe not as much as you would hope or expect, but enough for rescuing you. But you're invited to stay at the town. Let them kind of help you guys out. When yet again you hear that loud humming noise, and
I was about to mention this might happen.
It's filling the air as you see this dark storm cloud moving directly towards the town.
I tap Ron, let him go. Cast it again. Go to the other one.
I don't think that I can.
Not with that attitude.
Want to find a rooftop to stand on.
Most of the buildings here are, rather small. They're all one story, and you're not certain whether or not these buildings are designed to have people standing on their roofs. This is a town, not a town. It's a hamlet, a small little village.
Eris, do you wish to be airborne?
No, not necessarily. I was just trying to think, do you guys have a cave or somewhere that we could go to bottleneck these things? And I'm talking about this in a perfectly calm, collected fashion, in spite of the fact that there's an army of bees headed in our direction as we speak.
Bee, it's flying, but yet you don't see any wings on it whatsoever. And you don't even have to really think to realize that this is clearly its leader, its queen, that's out in front as it moves without really showing any demonstration of a physical movement. It just kind of floats and hovers, but is keeping in front of these creatures. And even though it doesn't have a humanoid face, it is clearly, held upright with a bit of majesty, a bit of nobility. to it. When you ask the townsfolk about some place to bottleneck, they're like, no, there's no walls, there's nowhere close that we could hold up. That's pretty much why they were able to take so many of us the first time. We fled into buildings. We've only just recently managed to repair. We pretty much expected that, the folk that were taken the first time were just dead.
All right, well then I guess stand our ground it is.
While these conversations are happening, I'm going to go ahead and start summoning an elemental.
I lean over to Rock and go, it's rare to see a leader leading. I like it.
I'm okay with this. And I am ready to stand our ground. And I actually just make that sound.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what that means. I saw somebody do it once.
I'm gonna stride out and meet the horde. Let's do this.
All right. I'm assuming we have enough time that I can probably cast 2 spells.
If you're talking about spells that take a minute to cast, like summon elemental, no.
Oh, that does take a minute to cast, doesn't it?
Yes.
Mage armor.
If they're within, 150 feet, I'll start opening fire on the queen.
Okay, so when it gets to that point, I will let you know. It's Ronlund is casting some spells that take some time as these guys
ritual done,
are approaching.
Or that spell done, rather. I'm summoning an invisible stalker, by the way.
I also would like to, when the queen gets in range of, as I talk slowly to Stall while I look up the range of the wand of magic missile. It's the spell. What's the range of magic missile? I think it's 120, but it could be bigger.
I want to think 120 as well.
120.
It is 120. So I'm standing there with my battle axe up like this, just waiting. Actually, I'm not holding it up like this. I'm holding it down, shooting from the hip because I can't miss. And when she gets in range, I'm going to use all six remaining charges to cast it. Let's see, that'd be. No, I'll use 5 of them because I can only do it up to level 5, I think.
So 4 charges to do it at level 5. Right? Is that the way, or is it 5 charges for that?
It's 1 charge per level.
Yeah, okay. It's a first level spell, so it'd be 5th level.
All right, so that is
a total
7. Total of 7 die 4 plus 7.
7. So whenever it's in range, that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
I'll just get on my.
When she gets within 90 feet, I want to cast Elemental Bane.
What are you going to cast?
Elemental Bane.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that spell. What does that do?
Okay, so you choose
it
one
unsummons his invisible stalker.
No. Choose one creature you can see and 1 damage type, and I am choosing fire. The target must make a Constitution save, and if it fails the first time on each turn when it takes damage of the chosen type, it takes an extra 2d6 damage of it.
All right.
Resistance to that type until the spell ends.
And what level spell is that?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is the range on Elemental Bane?
90 feet.
90. So magic missile's going to go off. What range are you looking for, Claude?
150, so I don't have disadvantage.
Okay. And so you're going to start going off there?
Yep.
All right. So when it gets to 150, Claude, make your attack.
I got a 20 and a 25.
They are both going to hit.
So 19 total.
So you did a 20 and a 25 with disadvantage?
No, I'm waiting at 150 so it doesn't have disadvantage.
Oh, okay. All right.
Otherwise, I could do it from 600, and I just didn't want to waste my arrows.
Okay. All right. So then it's going to move 50 feet forward, so it's going to bring it into range for Rock.
And then, yeah, once it's in range, just shooting from the hip, you just see doosh, 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 firing off 7 magic missiles for a total of 21 points of force damage. Oh, and I have to roll a d20 to see if my wand disintegrates.
I thought that's only if you use the last charge.
That was the last charge.
You said it had 7, and you used 5.
I used one of them. I used one of them down in the.
But
against the.
You just used 5 now, and 1 previous. That's 6.
Oh, you're right. I can't math. I'm a dwarf.
It's
I
all
have
right.
0 intelligence, so
It's all right. Ted likes math.
you're right. I do have 1 left.
So she begins moving forward. Claude,
I would like the bonus action rage.
Okay, Claude, if you would like to make your second attack, as you begin, Eris, to cast magic, this creature that really hasn't been moving, the spell as it reaches out towards her, a clawed hand, one of the 4 that she has, just kind of slaps it out of the air, and you see the magic was just countered.
I rolled a natural 1 and a natural 20 for the second round, so 17 hit point worth of damage.
Okay. All right. So, are you able to do anything this round, Rock?
How far out is she?
She is 50. So it started at 150. So it was at 100. She's now at 50.
I can't quite get to her, so with my 2 attacks, I'm going to reach back and pull 2 javelins.
Okay.
And I'm going to pitch my javelins at her. So that's going to be, the first one is going to be a 25 to hit.
That'll hit.
And every time the second one, I swear, every second attack has been a 5. So that's a 13 with my modifier.
13 is going to miss.
So and let's see, that's the first. So it does 8 plus 1d6 is 11, is 19 plus the 3 for raging. Was that 22 points of damage from the javelin?
Wow.
Because I got a d6 plus 5 for the divine fury.
Mm-hmm.
I get for the first hit of every round.
Are you doing anything this round, Eris?
I would like to move 20 feet forward and cast Investiture of Flame.
Okay.
That is basically, I conflagrate. I am now on fire. I shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet. I am immune to fire damage currently and have resistance to cold damage, and any creature that moves within 5 feet of me for the first time on a turn or ends its turn there takes 1d10 fire damage.
All right, so only one person is on fire?
Yes.
Not just 2 people are not on fire?
I'm on fire.
All right.
I step away just in case.
No, I moved 20 feet forward and then caught myself on fire.
I still moved 5 feet back.
Picture Drew Barrymore in Firestarter.
Ronlin, as you begin finishing your incantation to summon your elemental, I need the 4 of you as she takes in a deep breath and exhales a massive cone of acid. I need all of you to make a Constitution save.
Hey, natural 20. Of course, now's when I need to get it.
18.
Natural 19.
22.
21. We are rolling like bosses on our saves tonight.
Yeah, your saves are pretty spectacular.
That dwarven resilience helps. Well, it helps me. It doesn't help the rest of you. Or maybe it is. It's because you're hanging out with me.
Yeah, you're giving us all the luck. Bunny has helped us all. That is way too much of like a paladin voice.
So since all of you save for half, you take 25 acid damage.
Ow.
I take half of that.
I'm going to cast.
Half of acid.
Do it. Wait.
All right.
No,
That's
I
my
don't.
poison,
I
right?
don't. Yep. I'm
All
just.
right.
I'm just trying to BS.
Making stuff up. Gee.
All right. So we are going to now need to go into proper initiative order.
7.
Ugh.
Let's see. I get advantage on
17.
initiative.
I'm casting Absorb Elements as my reaction, Ted.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to do it at 5th level.
Okay. 14 is.
Are you doing the math on that, or?
14 is 17. Who am I missing?
Yeah, I missed me. Sorry. 18. I'll put it in there. All
right.
So you said 25 damage, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it. Half of my damage there.
All right, Asa, you're up.
Cool.
Now there are a large number of these wasps that you've already seen. There's some other creatures that look like they were once wasps, but they've been mutated or changed. Some of their carapace is like thicker, almost like they're wearing extra body parts. So some of them have a third set of arms. There's all kinds of crazy stuff, but like everything is scattered around. They're trying to like get into the homes to get the people, while you guys are focused on this leader.
Right. I'm gonna real quickly put my Invisible Stalkers initiative in there.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is cast. How far away is the queen?
50.
Cool. I'm going to cast Chain Lightning, targeted on her.
Okay.
And so it's her and let's see, 3 other creatures within 30 feet of her, and they must make a Dexterity save DC 16.
Okay.
I'm going to use the elemental energy I stored up from her attack on her, so that's an additional 5d6 damage to her.
Okay. She passed her save.
Cool. But that doesn't half my 5d6, right? That happens separately.
I thought it halves it all. I'm not as familiar with the.
Let me double read that roll while I get this rolled. 1, 2, 3, 8. 2 more. Oh, I'm reading the wrong. My bad. All right. Well, someone else can go ahead and go while I roll dice.
Absolutely. So that Megan, Eris, you're up next.
Okay, I cast Fireball at level 5. Like into, I know that some of the swarm has broken off, but whatever is still around the queen, I just want to like pitch it right into the middle of that.
Okay.
They get dex saves, and that's 38 for those that fail, and 19 for those that succeed.
All right. So again, as you unleash your magic, she steals it out of the air.
Oh, so this is something she can do more than once.
Almost as if she has the spell counterspell.
Oh, I am sorry. I'm not. I have to use the absorb elements as a.
Can I react to her counterspell and counterspell it back?
I don't believe you, while casting another spell.
Okay, no, I didn't think so. I had to.
It's a reaction, so it was ruled that it can be happening.
Oh, really?
Yep. Because it's not technically her turn; it's her reaction. Is it based on sage advice? Just saying.
All right. Well, for today's game, I'm going to be mean, and I'm going to go against what sage advice is saying. I've had no problem with that guy countering my counter to your spell. I got no problems there, as we've got a tertiary chain.
I didn't prep counter spells. I can't. I was just looking.
But yeah, she steals your magic again. Maybe there's some vendetta against the person who is trying to burn down her hive. Who knows?
63 lightning damage was my spell.
62.
63.
Right,
so half that to the queen is 31.
She can't do it to you, so.
I mean, maybe it's because she knew I used a 6th level spell and felt bad for me. I'll also tell my stalker kill the queen. So it's gonna go murder her.
I used to tell my stalkers to go away, but
not when they're invisible.
I didn't.
You never can tell if they're there or not.
Rock, you're up, sir. Unless there's something else you could do, Eris.
Nope. Well, yeah, no, that was my action.
All right, Rock.
So I will. You said she's 50 feet out.
She's closing. But I mean, yeah, though technically the way this works, yes, she is still 50 feet out because she has not had a chance to use her movement yet.
Okay, so the first thing I do as a bonus action is I just look around at my companions and I yell, "Today we will conquer our enemy, or we will die trying." And in Ronlin's possession, still, the rabbit says, "Tonight we dine in hell." And everybody, all of my companions around me, until the start of my next turn, you all have advantage on all of your attacks and saving throws.
nice.
As I have just used my Zealous Presence as a bonus action to inspire you all.
As a free action, I'd like to tell Rock, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this and throw his money back at him.
And I'm going to take my last 2 javelins out and I'm going to hurl them and then just reach back and grab the bunny out of the air that he's thrown at me. So let me throw these 2 javelins. That is a crit for the first one.
Okay.
With my cursed copper die. And a 21 for the second one.
They both hit.
So that's going to be... How do you do crits again, Ted?
So you max whatever your max would be, add that to the dice rolled.
Okay, so take the max and then roll the dice. Or roll the dice in it. Okay, so my
like
max for the javelin...
if you're rolling a d6, it's 6 plus a d6.
Okay, but okay, I got you. Because I'm rolling extra dice for the Divine Fury, so that's 12. Whoops. So that'll be 12 added, plus, another 6. So that's 12, 22, plus 9 is 31, plus the 3 for raging. 34 points from that first javelin.
Would you paladin smite?
And that's a rage-fueled javelin. And that second javelin is... Oh, that's a 1, so that's 5 plus... Oh, I don't get that extra 1. So that's just 5 plus 3 is 8 for the second javelin.
Okay.
And... Ooh, wait, I get to add 1 more damage die to that critical because I have brutal crit.
Okay.
So that 33 is actually, and I rolled another 6. So that 33 is actually a 39 for that javelin.
Okay.
And then I just grab the bunny out of the air. I'll roll for it if you want me to.
Nah, it's definitely cool to just say you grab it.
And as I grab it, when I touch it, it just says catchphrase. I've got a list of all the things it says in the conditions.
All right, the invisible stalker is up.
All right, it's got a speed of 50, so I'm going to say it can fly itself right up to the queen there.
Okay.
And
then it's engaged. I already have advantage.
Well, since it's invisible, does it have advantage on attacks? Is that how that works?
Well, it has advantage anyway, right? Because of rock.
Yes.
Oh, is he engaged with it?
Up to 10 people. 10 people of my allies have advantage on saves and attacks until my next turn.
Cool. All right, and it's got 2 attacks. So its first one swings in at 23.
That hits.
And its second one is coming in at higher than that, 24.
Okay, both hit.
So the first shot is 9 damage, and the second shot is also 9 damage. So there's just kind of this gust of wind bursting past all of you guys, and then just like rakes of, I guess, blood or whatever's hair across this creature. I'm explaining this very poorly. A visible or gashes just appear as this thing attacks it.
I see it perfectly. My mind is very anime.
Yeah,
I see what happens.
Yeah, because you have
All
true
right.
sight as the GM.
I do. Either that, or Ted is actually imaginative, and he can picture all the stuff happening.
Right. Sometimes I'm worried that like my players aren't in the same place with me in my like mental imagery. I'm like, I've got all this down perfectly in my head. Are they imagining it at all like I
am? Cloud, you're up, sir.
With advantage, 30, 20, and 22 for a total of 20.
All right, they both hit. She takes her damage. And she is up. So first off, let's check this. Yay.
Hey, Ted, I'm going to send you all the Invisible Stalker stuff in the chat.
Oh, thank you. So where precisely are you guys looking to be?
Not in her range.
I'm ultimately waiting.
Right, so you're openly presenting yourself as a come and
my
get
shirt
me.
is off. Now that my javelins are gone, my axe is in hand, and I'm just waiting. Come at me, bro.
Broette.
I haven't moved, so I'm still 50 feet away from her, and just standing there. I should have moved, but I didn't.
All right, so she charges in, delivers a spear attack to Rock. How close is Eris to Rock?
Probably pretty close. Well, I mean, like definitely outside of the 5-foot range because I don't want to set him on fire. But probably pretty close other than that.
All right. Well, she takes up some significant space. So she actually moves in. So she hits Rock with the spear, and then she lashes out against you, Eris, with a stinger.
Okay.
So
I am concentrating on a spell, so my AC is currently 16.
All right, that's what I was gonna ask. But I've got a 21 to hit. So the spear into Rock does 8 points, halved to 4. And then I need a poison save for Eris.
Oh. Do we have inspiration?
You do.
Okay, good. I'm using that. Oh, God. I rolled a 4 and then I rolled a 3. So,
wait, if it's a saving throw, you have advantage anyway because of my on saving throws as well.
Okay, well, I mean, I still rolled a 4 and then a 3.
Nice.
But at that point, can I use my inspiration? Or is that too
no, you only get the one thing. You can't unless you have lucky. Lucky is the only thing that gets you to a third roll.
Hold on. You know what? I don't think that 11 is going to be enough, so I will not use my reaction to add to my saving throw. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that.
All right. So you take 15 piercing damage and 9 poison damage.
Oh, that was not as bad as I had thought. So.
And then she exhales at all of you guys again. This time, as opposed to it going out as a cone, she exudes it around her. So I think you said how far back were you, Claude, from Rock?
I'm still technically 50 feet.
You're 50 feet away from Rock?
Oh, from Rock? If he's engaged, then how far did she move forward to engage him?
She's right in front of him.
Okay, then probably 20 feet away.
Okay, and where are you, Ronlon?
I am wherever is the most advantageous for me.
That doesn't work.
in its belly.
I don't know. I think I think I'd probably be maybe 10 feet behind Rock.
All right. So then all of you do need to make a con save again. And because of his ability, it says until the end of his turn or the start of his next turn, it's with advantage.
Nat 20.
That's another crit.
22.
Dear Lord, people.
I will use my reaction this time, and I'll get a dirty 20.
I got a natural 1 and a 12, so I'm going to take the 12. But it's still only a 14. I assume I fail.
All right, so I rolled a little bit better. It is 61 points of damage. Again, acid. So that's 61 to Claude, 30 to the rest of you.
I am down.
Holy 30?
I am going to again use. I mean, this is gonna waste the damage I could have done with my last one, but I'm going to use absorb elements again. Otherwise, I am also going to be down.
But before we get too far out from this, when she moved in on me and Rock, did she get within 5 feet of me?
Yes, she isn't within 5 feet of you.
Would have taken a D10 of damage at that point.
Okay, do you want to roll it?
Yes, please.
I mean, she is definitely taking some significant damage. I mean,
3.
She's about to take some significant damage.
And because I'm down, I'm not concentrating and I'm not on fire anymore. So.
All right.
Not right now.
So speaking of the devil, if you are down, please make a death save.
Yup. I pass.
All right. So you are one step closer to being stabilized and whatnot.
Unless he decides to hit me while I'm down. But
Asa, you're up.
Okay. Oh man, I'm torn between do I save Eris or do I kill this thing?
it's a one-shot kill this thing.
Okay. It's going down. I'm gonna charge up.
That's a meta attitude if I've ever heard one.
What does a one-shot mean?
Meaning it's going to go down in one shot. It's close to death.
I've shot it 7 times already.
It's still Rock hasn't gone yet, so I still have advantage on attack rolls, right?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go up and booming blade this. I would say words, but that's not fair. 18.
18 does in fact hit.
All right. So my first shot is gonna be with the booming blade effect. Where's my D4? So I keep using the Nerdarchy D4, which throws me off because I'm looking for the little pyramid.
The Nerdarchy D4.
The one from the Nerdarchy crate.
Ah, nice.
So that is 6 piercing damage or slashing, whatever daggers do, and then 15 lightning damage or thunder damage. So it's 21 altogether. And then I'm going to pull the whole teleport away thing with my Misty Step. Teleport 30 feet away. If she moves, she will be taking an additional 3d8 damage. I also am expending the elemental damage that I stored in from her attack against me.
Okay.
This is poison damage or acid damage. Is that what she does?
Yeah.
All right. That sucks. That's 2, 4, 6 acid damage.
All right. The acid damage doesn't really seem to do anything.
2 2s and 2 1s.
So Rock, you're up.
All right. I'm taking my battle axe, my great axe.
Or your kind of good axe.
Mediocre axe.
It's a great axe. I will show you. And I'm going to recklessly attack for my first attack. So that gives me advantage, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, attack rolls. Okay, so that gives me advantage on both attacks. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You get advantage on all of your attacks, but then all attacks on you
right.
gain advantage.
All right, so first attack with advantage is going to be a 26 to hit. Second attack with advantage. Oh, that was almost a crit. Get a 19, so that's 27. So I'm assuming both of those are hits?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So the first hit is going to do 1d12 and 1d6 for Divine Fury. So, are you kidding me? I rolled a 1 on my d12, but a 6 on the d6. All right, so that's
Michael, you know what you have to do.
5 plus 11
1.
is 16. That's for the first hit.
So 16 on the first one?
Yes. And the second hit, a little bit better. That's a 9 on the second hit. Oh, sorry. What did I say it was on the first one?
16.
That's 19 because I have +3 for raging.
Okay.
And then 12 for the second hit.
All right. So do you want to describe what you do this round?
So finally, as she's kind of up in my face, as I pull my great axe, I actually take an underhand swing, just swiping it up the front of her, swing it around over my head, and then cross across her body with it.
So you cleave her up the middle, cleave her across the sides, entrails and eggs and a variety of other, insides come out with the queen silenced. You look around and the other wasps that are around, they kind of go crazy as if they don't know what to do. Some of them turn on each other. Some of them, attack frantically the people that they've managed to find. Some flee. Some just go to the ground and stop moving entirely. It becomes a wild, crazy scene as you guys, go about the battlefield trying to, help those people that are being attacked, getting them away from the wasps. You have to chase down a couple, that were flying away, but you managed to save the majority of the town again from these creatures. Dealing with the leader, it appears that it's quite possible that these townsfolk won't have anything to worry about. You don't know exactly where the lair is because you were taking there unconscious and used magic to get out. So hopefully there's not another queen. But, that being said, you've saved the day for at least today. And again, the people offer to, have a party in your honor, and you get to sit and enjoy yourself for pretty much as long as you're willing to stay within the town of Steamford. We do, pretty much the tavern owner says that you'll never pay for drinks, as long as you're here. So any of you that wish to imbibe, feel free. I'm going to assume at some point in time someone comes over and, brings Eris around and doesn't just let her die.
Yeah.
I passed all my death saves. I went ahead and rolled them while you were
Well, the first thing that Ron
You're supposed to do con saves. Now you got to roll again.
when combat ends, Ronlin would approach Eris and use the healer's capability to 1 hit point anyway, and then bringing her up would say, "You fight well, Eris. You are unequal to Ronlin."
Well, thank you. I imagine that's probably a really big deal to you.
Indeed.
So for those of you who are sitting here watching, I am again running the material from RPG Crate. Now I had to do some quick thinking on this one. The scrolls that are in it totally say, teleportation, circle, wall of stone, and contact other plane. Yep. So that really gives them a way of getting back out. So this is heavily modified as to how to do this. But each one of these things comes with a nifty map that you chose not to go in and explore. Here's the town that you guys helped defend. That technically is the place that you're supposed to start at. But I always like to do things a little bit differently. Here's the hive that you guys were in, and technically you're supposed to help defend the town. Charge after the creatures, and go through the hive. Queen gets away. You got to go into her inner sanctum where she's luring you into an awesome trap. Really great stuff that's there, and I had to do it a different way. So we have a shorter session than we have been doing, but that is the cool stuff that is prepared by RPG Crate. There is a plethora down here at the bottom of created monsters that are in every single one of these things. So I think these things by themselves are super awesome as part of the crate. And in addition to getting, amazing t-shirts like you can see here. So I always try to wear the t-shirt that comes with the crate while I'm running the game, especially because it's a good visual. Down in the description below, we have the link to rpgcrate.com. The promo code Nerdarchy RPG Crate is a way to get 10% off. So go check it out and see if it's a crate for you. Do you guys want to give your feedback on this?
Catchphrase.
I would like to point out that the thing died right before I actually rolled good. I critted on one hit, critted on my sneak attack, and rolled really high on the other one for a total of 74 damage that I just don't get to use.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, that's because you rolled when it really wasn't going to mean anything. Whether you knew it or not, the dice knew. And therefore it's like, oh, well, since this doesn't matter, let's go ahead and roll well.
Yep.
That's why I was laughing, Megan, not because of Pooparchy.
Well, that was
Sorry, that
pretty
made
fun.
me laugh really hard. I know it got deleted, but it was really funny.
So what about anybody else? Any thoughts, any feelings on this?
Go ahead.
It was tough one to gauge because we kind of skipped most of it. I like
to show you. Oh, go ahead.
I like the fact that you skipped the village part. In that I know this group and I know we'd spent a whole lot of time.
I loved that we had the option to use the teleportation circle. I felt like that was that felt real to me.
Oh yeah, no, and the fact that as a party with our different personalities choosing to say, yeah, no, we're just gonna go now. Was great.
I can't believe they put it in there if you didn't want it to be used. I mean,
I debated changing out the spells to be like, oh, they're going to need some serious combat stuff. It's supposed to be, something that discourages the short rest. So we can, be like, oh, well, if I gave you some fireballs or some lightning bolts or something that, you'd be able to. Be able to say, okay, I ran out of spell slots because I can't short rest because there's constantly stuff assailing me. But I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to leave what's there. And you guys totally, we're like, all right, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, all right, let's see how this winds up, panning out. And, it worked out well. So any last thoughts? Anybody else?
I will say, I run a lot of random one shots and stuff on my channel, and I know you do because we do these shorter sessions. You edit it down to what especially we've been doing this for several months now. Where we're what this group's capable of. But as a DM that runs I love running pre-made adventures. I think from what I've seen, the adventures that come in the RPG crate are fantastic you could easily turn these into mini campaigns, run I've really hit the sweet spot on my channel. We run mini campaigns with 2 to 2.5 hour sessions, which makes it easier to run every week. I could see running any of these adventures we've run for 3 or 4 weeks to take them from beginning to end as a mini campaign. Or you could take it with your group if you have an at-home group, and you could sit down for an all-day session and get through these. I think
if I were to run each of these cards with everything that's on it, each one is about an hour to 2 hours worth of material, depending upon the players and stuff that you have. I'm not one to do 6 or 7 combats in a single session. My personal style, that's just too much combat. I prefer more role playing and what have you. So when I do these things, I do try to get it to 4 under combats, just because there's only so much time. So for you guys out there who are watching, sorry for the short session this evening. We had to roll with what happened and roll with how things went. I thought it was a great session for you guys that were playing. I hope you had as much fun as I did. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.